अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप लोग फिर हम इकट्ठे हुए हैं। इट्स वेरी इनलाइटनिंग आप लोगों को सुन के ना। एक आई थिंक सबका व्यू पॉइंट एक्सपैंड होता है। सो इट्स अ वेरी गुड sharing, open sharing, and we all learn from it. So please continue. We continue our journey, and each story I think opens up something for someone. I'm sure it does that. Um, तो हम टॉक्सिक रिलेशनशिप को देख रहे हैं एंड आई थिंक वॉट एवर द रिलेशनशिप इज हम उसको इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं। हम इस एक्सट्रीम केस को देख रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारा मेन था कि शुरू में नहीं होता है टॉक्सिक एंड इवेंचुअली इट गेट्स टू बी टॉक्सिक, and that is what we are trying to say, let's not give our children that same problem. At least let's prevent it at that end, and by seeing कि क्यों हुआ। हम सब अच्छी नीयत से जाते हैं into marriage and we hope for the best and we dream about the best. So I think toxic relationship की definition सबको आ गई है कि it's a constant thing that's going on, a conflict, emotional abuse है, just दोनों false self में हैं. You agree? It just throws you out. You're not being your true self because there's so much tension in the environment, and it affects everybody. So हम देख रहे थे extreme case, and we are also saying कि best case क्या है? What should be we aiming for? If we don't know what we are aiming for, तो फिर हम dark में ही चलते जा रहे हैं और hope कर रहे हैं कि कुछ हो जाएगा सही. So we did list down in our last session कि ये areas पे हमें concentrate करना चाहिए, and the key elements of this, and you can rate it and we can all rate it and say यहाँ पे हमारी इतनी we need to improve this side more between us. So इसको evaluate करते रहें so that you can yourself improve your relationship with your spouse. So we then looked at defining the problem, और जो हमारे सारे steps थे of conflict resolution, we are really at the first stage of just defining the problem. वही हम देख रहे हैं अभी, और जितना thoroughly we all do that, उतना ही easily solve हो जाता है problem. But if we haven't spent enough time on the desired state and the perceived state के सारी analysis नहीं हुई है, so you're not going to really resolve it. You're going to have to come back to it and say, ये तो problem मैंने सही तरीके से define नहीं किया. And we talked about what values should be aiming for, what should be the goals. So we are looking at more as a Muslim, what is our perspective on marriage and why are we here in a marriage relationship. ये भी काफी deviate हो गया है. If you look at society, what do you think are the reasons for getting married? आजकल की, especially Western area में अगर आप देखें, chat में share करें, why do people get married? What are they looking for? What is their major attention on when they get married? What do you think? What is anybody going to share? Yeah. Status, money, yeah, okay. It's just pleasure and enjoyment, isn't it? It's all about pleasure and enjoyment. We've got together and we must have pleasure and enjoyment in romance, right? So, right, okay, good. So, इसी को आगे ले जाते हुए हमने फिर देखा कि आयत से हमें क्या मिला. Surah 30, Ayat 21, what has Allah given us in a marriage? And of His signs is that He created for you from your self-mates that you may find tranquility in them. And He placed between you affection and mercy. Indeed, in that are signs for people who give thought. And I think whatever the sisters have spoken today, we can see there is affection and mercy. You can't move. Allah Ta'ala ki blessing hai कि ये मौजूद है. And what should we be aiming for? That we find tranquility. They find tranquility in us and we find tranquility in them. Both partners should be aiming for that in a marriage. And if it's not present, then they are not into self. That's really the area. So we look briefly at role activity result, कि आप हर वक्त किसी रोल में हैं, कोई एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं और कोई रिजल्ट ला रहे हैं. So even when you are sleeping, you're doing the activity of sleeping, you're in the role of taking care of yourself, and the result is a rested body so you can function the next day. So every single second of your life, ये तीन चीजें हो रही हैं, कोई ना कोई रिजल्ट आप प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं. So हम इसको देख रहे थे कि कोई भी लाइफ का प्लान आप जब बनाते हो, तो यू ऑलवेज से कि मुझे ये डिग्री हासिल करनी है, या आई वांट टू विजिट दैट प्लेस, or I want to do something like make this project सक्सेसफुल. तो आप अपना रिजल्ट डिफाइन करते हो, फिर वो रिजल्ट लाने के लिए आप कहते हो कि ये एक्टिविटीज मुझे करनी है, एंड देन यू डिसाइड के उन एक्टिविटीज करने के लिए आपको किस किस्म के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होने हैं. लाइक supposing that you say, okay, I want to lose weight or something like that. So you will go onto a diet and you will do some, exercises, and you put some, and फिर आप कहेंगे अच्छा इस रोल में मुझे किस किस्म के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स चाहिए ताकि मैं रिजल्ट ला सकूं. And you can say कि I would need to be a very determined person, a very disciplined person. मुझमें patience होने चाहिए. I don't give up the next day, भाई नहीं हुआ, so that patience, positive mindset आपके पास हो, resilience हो, अगर कोई बढ़ भी जाता है, you get back and you get out it, and you should have accountability on yourself. तो कुछ characteristics आप में मौजूद होने चाहिए in order to bring that result. If you don't have them, you're just going to go to one diet and the next and give it up and this, that and the other. तो प्लानिंग में आपने रिजल्ट डिफाइन किया, एक्टिविटी डिफाइन की, रोल के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स डिफाइन किया, एंड देन यू इम्प्लीमेंट देम, राइट. सो दिस इज द वे टू प्लान, एंड दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ आवर लीडरशिप कोर्स जो हम आगे का के we'll deliver it as a course. तो उसमें ये चीज है. तो नाउ वी आर सीइंग के इन अ रिलेशनशिप जो भी बात हो रही थी कि जब न्यूली वेड्स मिलते हैं तो देयर इज एक्चुअली नो result defined. The result defined is just like, very superficial. We don't have that for the married, and the groom doesn't do that. And, you're marrying for the wrong reasons. We went over these things last time. कि हम अपने reasons के लिए, we are getting married to get away from the pressure or have a nice life or whatever. But none of them are really the right reasons for getting married. So in that sense, we are influenced by the media. We are influenced by movies, culture, and they're all impacting our expectations of the marriage, aren't they? Whether हम क्या expect करेंगे अपने spouse से, वो भी वहीं से हमें मिल जाता है उसका. And the most focus कहाँ पे है? It's on the physical side. It's not on the इंटेलिजेंस और नॉलेज को बढ़ाएं, या स्पिरिचुअली हम एक दूसरे बढ़ाएं, या इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस को बढ़ाएं, वहाँ पे कहीं नजर नहीं होती. ज्यादातर नजर फिजिकल चीजों पे, ड्रेसिंग अप पे, पार्टिंग पे, इंजॉयमेंट पे, फन पे, एंड ऑल हैविंग टू डू विद द फिजिकल सेल्फ. सो आई से ऑल दीज थिंग्स. आई थिंक कि आप भी सोचें कि इन द फ्यूचर, when you are bringing your children up, and or you're thinking of getting married, so you should look at this area and see कि एक undefined role और undefined result के साथ लड़की शुरू हो जाती है और लड़का भी शुरू हो जाता है. उसको अपना रोल भी नहीं पता होता, उसको रिजल्ट भी नहीं पता होता कि मुझे क्या लाना है इसका मीटिंग ऑफ टू सोल्स के साथ. एंड थ्रू द एक्टिविटी वो अपना रोल डिफाइन कर लेते हैं और उसको डिफाइन कर देते हैं कि एंजॉयमेंट और प्लेजर इसका मकसद है शादी का. Unconsciously, it's not even done consciously. It just happens like that. So there's no sort of on the mental side or emotional intelligence side or spiritual side पे वो emphasis जाती ही नहीं और ख्याल भी नहीं आता कि ये चीज भी करनी है. So अल्लाह ताला ने वो इमोशनल बॉन्डिंग दी हुई है. So we sense that very much, and it keeps us together with each other. and we discussed this last time कि हमारा result जो हम चाह रहे हैं out of a marriage, the way we are sent into it, and to be very honest, there should be a education and schools about marriage. It's a necessary part. It should be there, and we go into it wanting to receive, get, want, desire, experience, sensation चाहिए. इस व्यू पॉइंट के साथ हम चलते हैं, हमें चाहिए, इसमें से ऑलवेज चाहिए वाला बटन चलता रहता है हमारे माइंड में, एंड अप्लाइज बोथ वेज टू द मैन एज वेल. एंड although it should be about giving, it should be about serving, it should be about growing spiritually, growing in knowledge, growing in character, about striving to be better people. It's about building our homes to be proper representative of, per the Quran, of society. It's a small unit of society. It should operate that, and we should be rising. That is the purpose that we have to instill in ourselves about marriage. And I think we went on to then talk about कि आपको अपने belief systems को देखना पड़ेगा. So I think one of the assignments था कि आप अपने belief systems को कैसे undo किया आपने. So we'll go into that क्योंकि शायद कोई questions इस पे आपको हों, and I'll go over the method कि कैसे करना है, so that you are sure, and the next time we can talk more about them in that. And we said that the main thing we have to always remember, adhere to the fitrah of Allah upon which He has created all people. No change should there be in the creation of Allah. And that natural disposition जो हम में है, वो हमारा काम है, उसको retain करना. You agree with that? हमें अपने में रिटेन करना है, हमें अपने स्पाउस में रिटेन करना है उनका, और बच्चों में रिटेन करना है उनका, जो असल फित्र अल्लाह ताला से ब्लेसिंग हमें मिली है. We should not corrupt that in any way. So when we look at overall at the plan of society as a whole, the women का role है to creating a new civilization with high morality standards. आदमी का रोल है on building supportive societies and environments. वो create यहाँ पे होना चाहिए, वो जाके बाहर करते हैं वो, but हम लोग कहीं पे भी जाते हैं, even if we are working, we are always trying to create a better civilization. हमारी सोच ही ऐसी है. Whereas they are trying to put the current environment right, and those roles are perfect. They come together and we can, create a perfect society with our alignment and purpose like that. So we finished over here last time with this thing, and one of the sisters mentioned the word zoj, which is the Arabic word, and I thought, let's look at it. Let's see what does that word mean. And we look at the meanings of to couple, to join, wed, marriage, spouse, and you can look at these in detail when I get it onto the course. Or conjoins ka bhi hai, join, combine. So you have the wife-husband pairs, comradeship hai, one of the pair, male or female. So if you look at this a little more carefully, तो आप couple or join से क्या समझते हैं हम? So two people are coming together, right? They're coming together, and two individuals. Outside world के लिए वो एक हैं, right? Outside के लिए they are, they represent one, and then but they are they're growing together, joining together, sharing their experiences, sharing their individualities, whatever knowledge and experience they have, so that they bring together and they mix. Mix का मतलब है कि they're different, aren't they? That's why they will mix. So again, you're talking about different backgrounds, different values, different perspectives हैं दोनों के, and you're contributing to each other's spiritual growth through that mixing. And then the term uses is paired. Paired में आप देखेंगे, we have pairs of socks, trouser pair, you have scissors pairs, glasses pair. अब दोनों चीजें फर्क हैं. We call it pair of scissors. Look at the two sides, they're different. Even the spectacles are different. The gloves are different pair of gloves. So you can see the pairing में you don't have identical things. You have to recognize that they are different things. And when you say they are paired, you're really saying they're connecting and complementing each other. They're sort of, when you say connecting, you're saying they are uniting, they are interdependent in some way, in that sense. And there's a complementing में है कि एक दूसरे के strengths or weaknesses से फायदा उठा के they are a perfect unit together. And you'll see अल्लाह ताला bless करता है wedding में दो लोगों को लाता है, and it's like you are good at some things and they're good at some things. It's not like you're both good at the same thing. So it's Allah Ta'ala ki blessing hai that it does work, that we complement each other. And comrade, maybe we're talking about a very great friendship and loyalty and trust. इस relationship में नहीं है तो हम पैदा करेंगे. It's possible. Everything is possible because that's the way a marriage is defined. And conjoined, usually you're saying about physical things, but this is about, it's about such a strong degree of commitment that it goes beyond companionship. You're just committed to that person, that you would see them through, and committed in getting them to the highest spiritual level, and they're committed. It should be like that they're committed to get you to the highest spiritual level that is possible. So, ask a question. I'm asking you this question now. Is marriage when two people become one? क्या बोलेंगे आप chat में मुझे बताएं? Is it that when two people become one? What do you say? Yes, no, do you agree, disagree? Yeah, when two people become one. Is it true? Is that what marriage is? Any more answers? Sister Franz saying no, somebody saying yes. Yeah, okay, right. I mean, that's what happens is हमने कहा mix कर रहे हैं, complement कर रहे हैं, तो हैं तो हम फर्क. You can't combine it. You just can't. But mentally ये हो जाता है. You kind of think you come so close. एक तो physically भी हम बहुत close हैं, emotionally close हैं. So we make the mistake of thinking that when I'm thinking something, he should have already known. I should have thought that. Why doesn't he answer what I want him to say? So ये गड़बड़ इसलिए होती है क्योंकि you're so close together. But you are different people. And ये आपको सुधारना है अपनी खुद को. When that happens, you should spot it कि आप ये चाह रहे हो, but he doesn't have that reality. He has a totally different reality, and you have to check his reality. So inshallah, we can sort of keep that thing के respect करें and understand that they have their own universe and we have our own universe, and we have to find out कि वो क्या सोच रहे हैं और क्यों ऐसे सोच रहे हैं, and respectfully grant them that reality that they have, कि उस पे, we grant them that. So when we go into arguments and upsets, we've obviously left this, this ayat where Allah Ta'ala is telling us in Surah 5 and Ayat 2, incorporate in righteousness and piety. And taqwa ka word used like Allah, consciousness at all times and purity. But do not cooperate in sin and aggression. And fear Allah indeed. Allah is severe in penalty. So it's maybe we have to pull ourselves back. I think ये भी एक button हमारे में, we have to create it. कि whenever we go into a false self, हमें पता हो हम sin और aggression की तरफ चले गए, हम false self की, वो नहीं तो हम लगे रहते हैं, वो अपना point, trying to argue it through, but you've already left your true self. And I think वो थोड़ी सी training से हम सीख लेते हैं. We can easily spot it when we are, and if you're doing the course, parts of you, inshallah, through that, you will learn to identify very fast कि आप false self में चले गए. Even a thought can tell you that you are in false self. Okay. So I was just going to sort of cover with you कि कौन से false ideas, notions बैठ जाते हैं माइंड में और हमें पता नहीं चलता कि वो बैठे हुए हैं. We talked about belief systems, कि belief systems की वजह से हमारा behavior खराब हो जाता है. So we are going to look at just some ideas कि कुछ लोगों के ये false notions हो सकते हैं when they enter into marriage. So they would think कि हमें unconditional love and जो भी है हमें accept किया जाएगा because we are perfect or whatever. The marriage is supposed to accept me the way I am and give me whatever I do, I will be unconditionally loved. We could go on that false idea, and then I will be constantly protected in physically, financially, everything. वो financial security में भी आ जाता है वो. So this can also be in our heads, in our belief system, in a woman's belief system. Unwavering attention मिलेगी मुझे. I will always come first with this person, right? And look at me वाली के मेरी तरफ देखा नहीं, मैं इतना dress up हुई, I did everything and I didn't get the attention. तो वो physical appearance पे भी बहुत attention है कि that could be the notion that and you become a physical entity. That's the problem with this kind of thinking and the media. You start, and because it's a physical relationship as well, so you start thinking that you're physical, whereas you're so much beyond physical. It's just physical is nothing. So it's that kind of thing we have to spot when we are giving too much attention to our bodies and wanting to be appreciated because of our dress or makeup or the way we appear. False notion में fairy tale ending भी हम सोच सकते हैं कि it'll all end very well, and we can also expect instant happiness कि automatically ये बंदा इस relationship में problem solve कर देगा और मुझे he's the answer to all the problems of my life. He's the one. Right? So ये हम अपना idea बना सकते हैं into a marriage which can lead to disaster then. I think one of the other things is that in our culture especially, a woman goes in being nothing. And she thinks she has to mold into this new environment of the in-laws or the new family she is joining. तो अपनी कोई personal identity नहीं होती है. जैसे one of the sisters mentioned as well that she had to revive that in herself. Initially, she was just going along with the wave, and it's I've come across people who शादी होती है तो पिछले सारे connections phone ही बदल देते, फेंक देते. Like that side didn't exist. Now I've got my new life with this man, and now that's like, where's your identity? Where is your life that you lived before? Why do you have to disconnect from it? It's like a very odd concept. For me, it's very odd. So being nothingness is denying the past life. It's not right. It's not, you're denying your knowledge, your experience, your everything, you're putting it down to zero. And although you are so able, so that would be a wrong notion to have, expecting constant, unchanging relationship in a changing life. ये भी होता है कि all the time I'll have a good time with him, all the time it should be not. नहीं, there will be ups and downs, you're different people, life is changing, challenges आ रहे हैं घर पे, तो how can it be smooth? And it's just part of life. ये गलत notion है कि expect करें कि constantly there will be a stable relationship. The other one, number 10, is no need for effort to maintain the relationship. शुरू में because they fell in love, and now that's it now. You don't need any petrol. That's it. It should be like that all the time. Well, it needs work. It needs to, everything is changing, the environment is changing, you're changing, he's changing. So it needs time and effort invested in it, and being time for each other. So and also expecting कि उनकी तरफ से सब कुछ होगा, मुझे कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. He will fix it. It's his job. And then automatically, whatever I say that I'll get an agreement from the spouse. It could be one of the notions one has. A perfect partner, meeting all expectation. This could be an idea you walk into the marriage with. And then you have the traditional gender roles whenever it suits you. You know, if you want to go out and shop and do your clothes shopping and everything, you're very well, you like that idea. But if you tell you to go and get a microwave or a fridge, do a research, go and check it out, वो आदमी का काम है. It's like a different sort of mindset on areas that things, whenever it suits you, you're a woman, उस traditional role में चले जाते हो, जब नहीं suit करता तो उसमें, so that also has to be watched for. Any viewpoints anybody wants to share on this false notion of women may bring into marriage, and these obviously become your belief systems.
ये मुझे शेयर करना, आज ही आपने सारे हमारे ख्वाब तोड़ दिए। ये सारी चीज़ें तो हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं। कांस्टेंट लव और ये किसी और को ना देखे और फेयरी टेल एंडिंग, ये सब कुछ तो हम डिज़र्व करते हैं, हम चाहते हैं कि ऐसा ही हो। तो आप चाह रहे हैं कि हम ये सब कुछ भूल के, तो फिर हमारा क्या बनेगा मैम? कुछ और ईज़ी सा तरीका बताइए, ये नहीं हो सकता?
नहीं, नहीं, ईज़ी नहीं है, उसके बाद आपको ट्रैंक्विलिटी मिलेगी इंशाल्लाह।
अच्छा, किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन है तो पूछ लें। मैं तो
Any questions? We move on to what does the man think?
That's good. You want to know that side.
उसको देखें.
I mean, I want to.
Okay, let's look at what the man comes in with. What kind of ideas is he coming in with? हमने कहा था कि history में all along ये domination की चीज है. It's not in culture. Some cultures are not. It's always been there. It's been in religion, in politics, in society, everywhere. So वो है. Might come in with the notion of dominance है. मेरा जो मैंने कहा वो होगा. I'm the one controlling all this. You're not controlling it. You don't have a say in this. So they might come with that notion. And they might come in with the idea that because they're a man, they don't have to express themselves. And that they could come in, and most men have that notion. They've been brought up like that. And that is very harmful. This is, we were discussing in our बता रहे थे communication. It just limits the communication and drop हो जाती है. आपको reality नहीं मिलेगी उस person की जो नहीं आपसे बात करेगा. Okay. And then the financial burden, they regard it as a major duty to finance the family, and it's a major task which they consider much more important than what the wife is doing. They could consider it like that. I'm not saying that every man will, but they could consider it like that, although it's not like that. The real thing is they both have a role to play, right? And that is one of the roles of financially, but it's not that they are providing. Firstly, Allah Ta'ala is providing, and you're both supporting each other in that, your role and their role. The fourth one is sexual entitlement. They might consider that as because they are married now, they are entitled to that. And we have the lack of emotional support. They don't consider that they should be supported emotionally, although they need it. That's what marriage is about, right? Do you agree with that? They might think they don't need it, but they definitely need it, right? And you have to work on that to bring that about. So we look at it, how we do that. So that would be a big barrier because they don't have anyone then. If they don't have you as a wife to share it with, to talk to about, then they don't have anybody. So traditional gender roles में भी देख सकते हैं अपनी खुद को, I do, and the man does this and the woman does this. Ignore कर सकते हैं, relationship issues not important. She's upset today. Okay, that's just the way it is. she's like that, moody or whatever. You know, they could label it like that instead of looking at what is, you know, what is the real cause behind it. You could take the partner for granted. कि अब शादी हो गई, अब तो ये मेरे पास ही है, she's like my possession now. They could prioritize work and friends over relationship, and that could cause problems. And comparing their partners to others could be done. That would be also something that would create problems. And expecting instant, जो भी कह रहे हैं वो एकदम से उसको सही हो जाए, gratification मिल जाए, जो भी expect कर रहे हैं वो हो जाए. Viewing the spouse as an object, as a possession, as something to be proud about, show off, you know, that could be there. Viewing in-laws issues as a spouse issue. अगर पैदा हो रहे हैं तो वो समझ रहे हैं कि wife का मसला है. Not seeing it as something that needs a family resolution together, or he's got a big part to play in that in order to resolve the issue. And not viewing children as their responsibility. They come in with that thing, and sometimes they see children as diminishing decreasing their entitlement. क्योंकि आपका attention उधर चला गया. We also fail sometimes on that. We just excessively go towards the kids and forget the spouse. So that is something we have to take responsibility for. So these were the kind of notions that they come in with. And their belief systems are there, and those also need to be handled and you know, put in the right with the right belief system in order to have a good marriage, because these things will stop a marriage being good. So any comments on this one before we move on? I'll move on. Yeah. Okay. So what are we looking at in terms of belief की cycle को देख रहे हैं थोड़ा सा, so that you can handle your belief systems that you have. So beliefs, आपकी जो भी belief है वो आपके you know, it raises some thoughts. It brings about thoughts, it brings about feelings, it brings about आपका behavior, action follow करता है. If you have a thought, belief, it will lead to some thoughts, some feelings, फिर आप behave करोगे किसी तरह, आप act करोगे, फिर act करोगे, उसको फिर experience करोगे, you know, if it's not a good experience, then it will prove that your belief is right. So you will strengthen that belief system. So let's look at an example. अगर आप कहते हैं कि I'm useless, I'm not good enough, ये आपका belief system में बैठा हुआ है, तो it's all my fault. तो इससे कैसी feelings आएंगी आपको? You know, you'll get sad, you'll get scared, you'll get fearful, you'll feel anxious, you'll feel insecure. So इस पे आपके thoughts और feelings की वजह से आपके actions और you know, behavior impact होएगा. Whatever you're doing, if you have to give a speech or something like that, you're not going to do well. You know, not with all that going behind in your head. And obviously, जो आप feel कर रहे हो, वो आपके body में भी आ रही है, वो emotion. So you might feel your stomach is, you know, it's not, you're getting very faint or feeling dizzy or not feeling good because you're nervous about it all. So when you go out and then you give that speech or you give that talk, you don't do it very well, and then you prove to yourself, I'm no good at it. So आपका belief system बढ़ता जाता है. It gets more power. That you're sort of reinforcing it every time you go through this cycle. So अगर इसको देखा जाए कि होना क्या चाहिए, कि आपका belief system जो है वो आपके potential से बहुत connected है. आपने देखा वो example में उसका potential कम होता जा रहा था, right? Because the belief system was behind it. So your belief system, you have to determine the amount of potential you can tap into. तो उसको high रखें, you know, keep it very high, because आप जितना अपने को समझेंगे काबिल, उतना ही आप एक्शन करेंगे. अगर आप कम समझेंगे अपने खुद को, कम एक्शन करेंगे, आपकी दुनिया छोटी सी होगी, आप उसी में ऑपरेट करेंगे. You know, but if you have this potential, I can do this, I can bring this change, I can make a difference. So your actions will also be encompassing a bigger area, reaching more people or reaching more family members. So even in a marriage or have to have the potential that I can fix this. I am capable of doing it. And then you will be able to have that action and you will be able to see the result. और थोड़ा सा ही result देखेंगे तो आपका belief stronger हो जाएगा, आपका potential बढ़ जाएगा. So it's like a round and round circle and you keep going bigger and bigger, which is what exactly goes in with the surah of the fitra, that Allah Ta'ala has created us with, and we can rise to bigger areas. So we looked at this and said that the fitra, we've been created upon that, and that is the whole idea. So jahan pe bhi aapka belief system aa raha hai, where you think yourself negative or anything like that, you need to correct that and see how and I was going to give you an example. Don't know how far we haven't, should I do this? Yeah, next time पे कहूँ, आपको दिखाना चाह रही थी कि एक belief system को कैसे सही किया जाता है.
कर ले Safiya, because we are in the midst of it now.
Yeah, okay, all right. Okay, so now we are looking at how to fix a belief system, right? We're going to go through the steps, and there are only 5 steps of what you have to do. So इसको example के साथ ले जाते हैं कि आप you feel you feel bad, you're feeling nervous, you're not feeling good in a situation. So locate the thing that causes the emotion. Maybe it is a person just pointing their finger at you. That's it. And it triggers that in you. Yeah, you start feeling less, you start feeling threatened. So आपका जितना भी आप डिटेल इस पे लिख सकते हैं कि क्या क्रिएट होता है, आप वो करें, लिखें, so that you're very clear on it. And then you go on to say, locate the thoughts and belief system that triggers it. So go ahead and locate, what is it that causes this thing to happen? You feel stuck. When he does that, I feel stuck. I can't win. I feel I can't win. I have to comply. Ye thoughts mere mind mein ja rahe when somebody points their finger strictly at me. And then you can locate it, incidents jab you have felt like that. So jitna aap data dekh sakte ho, aap dekho us pe. What is the, and ask yourself, what is it that you're seeking in this whole situation? Kyun aap stuck feel kar rahe ho? What is it? What is causing it? How does it benefit you to feel like that? How does it benefit you to feel this way? You obviously have decided to feel less. It helped you at some point in time. And you have to locate, well, why did you make that decision to feel less? Because at some point it did help you when you felt threatened. When did it happen? How did you come to this conclusion that you are less and you should feel threatened? We shouldn't feel threatened by anybody except Allah Ta'ala. We know that, right? So in that sense, you have to investigate and see कि ये कहाँ से belief system जो है मेरा क्या है और क्यों है? Why is it there? And by looking at your past or maybe it happened in school, maybe it happened with your father, maybe it happened with a class teacher, something like that, and you decided that you feel less and you feel threatened. So spot that thing, and then you have to go ahead and replace the belief system. So you decided कि ये तो belief system गलत है, ये इस्लाम के मुताबिक नहीं है. And I have immense potential. Why should I feel scared? I'm going into my false self. I shouldn't be there. And perhaps my spouse is in his false self, and I shouldn't be intimidated when he's in his false self. I should be there in true self, trying to help him get in true self. So abhi aap truth ki taraf aa rahe ho. So then you can write your new belief system. You can say, I'm a powerful person. Allah Ta'ala has blessed me with a fitra, which has immense potential. I have the potential to stay in true self. I should not show less gratitude to Allah Ta'ala for all the potential He has given me. So it's my duty to stay in true self, whatever happens. So आपने अपना नया belief system बना लिया कि ये होना चाहिए, वो वाला सही नहीं. So step D and E are very important because आपका जो mind है, that considers your belief systems to be your religion. वो उसको ऑटोमेटिकली फॉलो करता है, उसका काम है कि आपको इस दुनिया में बचाए, उसका काम है आप सर्वाइव करें. So when you have to loudly say, I now cancel that belief system, which makes me think that I am less, I have to comply, I cannot, should feel threatened, I should feel stuck. I'm canceling that belief system in myself. Because at some point you set it up. So you cancel that and the mind says, oh, okay, that's canceled. And you give it the new belief system that I have immense potential. I can face it. I can stand up and remain in true self. I can collect my emotions, make your own new set of belief system and tell the mind, now you're going to operate this way. And consider it a blessing. I mean, I look at it always as a blessing when I find myself in false self, because it gives me a chance to look at a belief system that's running me, So ये भी अल्लाह का शुक्र है कि हमें मौका मिलता है कि हम अपने को clean up करें, and then we can go ahead and put that thing right. So A, B, C, D, E, tell the mind your new belief system, and then inshallah, you're okay on that. You cleaned it up. But there are layers and layers and layers of belief systems in all our lives. And it will take time to, and Allah Ta'ala says, come back to me pure. So we will keep doing that, or you keep asking yourself these questions on the belief system. ये सारे जो हमने लिखे थे, आप देखें क्या है आपके पीछे तो नहीं है कोई belief system, and you clean yourself up, and similarly the spouse cleans him. We'll get to that, how the spouse cleans himself. So basically, that is what currently हमारे ये steps हैं, and we are only at defining, and we are sort of stepping into analyzing the problem. This is how far we've gotten in the whole series of lectures जो हमने शुरू से किए थे. So we are at this stage of just analyzing the problem. और बाकी बड़े fast जाते हैं because they're just, you have to apply them. So that's the end of my talk at this stage. And I leave you with this thing कि first आपने अपने को साफ करना है, and that is okay. That is what you should be doing. And the second step is you have to just observe your husband. Don't go do more than that because you haven't really observed. Just observe him for who he is. You made another picture. We make another picture of him. He should be like this. And we're looking and talking to that thing. So, unki reality ko dekhna, I would suggest that this is the first step. Apne khud ke belief systems clear up. And secondly, aapko knowledge aa gaya hai, and you're gaining knowledge. So, उस knowledge को use करते हुए observe करें, असल में आपके सामने क्या है. And you will fall in love with your husband again, I'm sure. That's how it is. We are born for love. Each of us has the capacity to love and way to help the other person. Ye bhi hum mein hai, we want to help. So inshallah, it will help, I hope. And any questions? Over to you, Sister Fan. I think that was it.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Faida, for this very useful subhanallah exercise into the belief system, and belief system belief system की cycle जो है, और फिर वो belief system को कैसे correct करते हैं, subhanallah, extremely useful, subhanallah. So please आप लोग ना अपना जो form है, Zoom form for feedback, वो please भरें. See, please mention how useful this session was. Are you learning anything? उसकी जो questions है, please सब करें. It's very easy, simple, just clicks of buttons है. Please आप वो कर दें. And go ahead and ask any questions, any comments. Please आप लोग hand raise करें, या chat में आप type करें, and we will go ahead and get that thing. So. Yeah.
Ma'am, can we stop recording?